Yes, and we are back for another session.
We made it.
We did. We made it to another week.
Yes, week 10? No,
I think this
week
might be
9?
9. Yes,
Okay,
we're
I'm
in week
jumping
9.
ahead.
Yeah, this is good. This means we've done 2 months
Yeah,
together. So, I guess let me tell you how the week was, how it went,
yeah,
how
absolutely.
good. I mean, I today definitely came out had a late start that I was telling you was a problem, but most of the week getting up a little earlier, getting in those 3 meals and trying to like front load. So I feel like there were a couple of days where I actually hit the goals for like everything. A couple, not every day, but more than I had the week before. So that felt good.
That's great.
Yes. And yeah,
Is
just
it
kind of
getting easier to do that? Awesome.
yes. Yeah, there was a day when I was really actually quite surprised that I had hit the goal and I was like, "Wait, am I still hungry?" I'm like, "Am I?" But yeah, it's getting a lot easier to do, especially on the protein front. Like I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't need to utilize like a supplement or a shake or anything. Like I was hitting within those
That's great.
that 20-gram range just off of food.
Awesome. What do you feel like made it easier for you?
I honestly feel like it's just been like you had suggested, like doubling or one and a halving the amount of protein that I was taking in. Um, and doing that, trying to do that at like most meals or at the very least, like you said, front loading and doing it at those my breakfast and lunch. And that kind of helped make it so that I wasn't trying to play catch up for dinner.
And do you feel like it's getting easier to eat more food?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Is that I it's interesting because there is kind of a cascading effect, not just strictly with protein, but just overall when we're used to surviving on a smaller amount of food, we might not have the same hunger cues or maybe even the same awareness for our hunger cues that once we allow ourselves to eat more, then it kind of triggers us being more hungry at, I don't want to say appropriate times, but just more overall hunger might come from eating more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not I only really feel like there's one day where I felt that way where I was like, "Oh, I'm like still hungry even though I'd like hit um my goals for the day, my macros, but overall it's just been like feeling pretty satiated and like fine.
Great.
Overall. Yeah.
What I love is that we're still eating probably more food than what we were.
Mhm.
We just restructured the macros a little bit. So we got ourselves up to that amount. And by just kind of redistributing the composition of what we're eating, now we're starting to see maybe a little bit of a downward trend on the scale.
Mhm.
So one might call that a reverse diet, right? So it's a very trendy buzzword that I think can be misleading because I think
Okay.
there's two parts to it. I think part of a reverse diet is we run into an issue of saying we're only eating 1,400 calories or whatever the case may be. But because we're not really accurately tracking all of our data, or maybe because we want to make it look like we're only hitting that number when really we're actually over consuming, by giving someone the permission to say, hey, you actually have, upwards of 1,800, 2,000 calories to play with.
Mhm.
One, it can lead to a lot more truthful data collection because we've allowed ourselves space to capture all of the data and can
Mhm.
be a little more truthful or be a little more comfortable with kind of seeing a larger number of calories consumed and to still be within our given range
Yeah.
above or below what we might consume. But in that, because we've now allowed ourselves to have that, then that is kind of what a reverse diet is to me. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily we're bringing you up to these calories. It's like you might have already been there, but now we have the space to kind of see, oh, this is really what's happening. And then what steps can we take from there? Because then it looks like, oh, I'm eating more calories, but I'm losing weight. And that's a reverse diet. But while yes, that is true, but maybe we were just missing pieces of the puzzle. So I think the idea of a reverse diet, and like this isn't a blanket statement, but a lot of times I have found that by giving someone permission to eat that many calories or a number that maybe they were uncomfortable with and that they didn't want to identify with, can lead to more better capturing data, but also just people seeing like, oh, well, I feel great, my workouts are better, like all these other things can happen, and kind of removing that like little bit of closed mindset to, well, what would happen if I tried this?
Yeah.
Am I going to see immediately an increase on the scale? Like what's really going on? Because if you are saying I'm only eating 1,400 calories, but I'm only tracking 1,400 calories, but I'm really consuming 2,200, that's where there can be a big disconnect, right? So I think there is a lot of confusion around reverse diets, and it sounds appealing, right? Like I'm eating more, but I'm losing weight, but you might not be.
Yeah. And that's interesting. And I think also, you know, I can only speak for myself, but having the bigger calorie count, it threw me for a bit of a loop because
Totally.
all I'm ever used to is like less, you know, you do 1,200 calories, maybe 14, but like never 2,000, never 1,800, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
So I think even just like wrapping your mind around that, and I also know my weight went up, and I was like, you know, those first 2 weeks where I was like, I don't want to be on this ride anymore.
Totally. Yeah.
This ride isn't working. So I think like it's a bit of also trusting the process, like you said. It's like you're giving permission for more calories, but also knowing like this isn't a overnight thing, which is another thing we've been promised too, right? Where it's like, oh, in a week you can lose this much, or in 2 weeks you should lose this much, where it's one, not healthy, but two, also just like not necessarily true. And I think we're all, you know, we're a little used to a lot of more instant gratification on many things, and, you know, quick fixes too, as opposed to like, okay, what am I doing to restructure how I nourish my body, but also have it be able to do the things I want it to do, which is gym and walking and doing all these things. And so, yeah, this whole process has been so helpful for me in you like, and also breaking down and seeing like where do these beliefs come from, why are they there, and everything. So yeah, but I can say like for sure that I would like step on the scale and be like, I don't think this is working.
Well, and I think what's sobering, or can be sobering, about that is even though the scale went up, like, and we can explain that, like we can say, well, you're eating more carbs now, you're holding on to more water weight, but I would then kind of counter that with, when you look in the mirror, do you feel like you look bigger? Do you feel like you look any different? And like progress photos are a really good touch point for that, right? So like we can look at a progress photo of ourselves at this weight and at this weight. Maybe one number is higher than the other, but what do you actually look like? What is your body composition? With aggressive strength training, usually, maybe not usually, I would say that someone who is more muscular and maybe weighs a little bit more might look very different from someone who has less muscle mass, more body fat, but's at a lower weight. And you might find that at the higher number and the higher muscle mass, you actually look more like what your ideal body type might be, as opposed to that lower number, less muscle mass, higher body fat. So it's kind of learning to disassociate ourselves from the number on the scale or the number of calories that we're consuming, and internalizing that it might be a mismatch with what we want to look like aesthetically.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and I've been, you know, trying to remember that and looking in the mirror and all of those things. And, you know, even coming into this, I remember telling you like, hey, I know, I see that I look, you know, closer to what I want to look like, even though this is a higher weight, just because of the muscle mass. And the DEXA was also helpful with that, where I was like, oh, I gained 2 pounds in muscle mass over these, you know, 6 weeks, which made me really happy, because I was like, okay, the strength training is working. And
that's hard to do, like putting on muscle mass while pursuing fat loss, body composition, essentially, that's really hard. So I think people can tend to underestimate just that process. Doing one or the other is hard on its own, but to do both simultaneously adds just another layer of complexity.
Hmm. Well, that's why I put together the dream team over here.
But I think just going in with eyes wide open, right? Like
Mhm.
understanding that, wow, okay, I can be chasing after one of these adaptations and that's going to create a challenge for me. But if I want both, then I really need to be on top of it.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but that's all I got.
Awesome. Should we dive into to confidence in
Yes.
the gym?
Yes, our
I'm
discussion
actually,
topic is that.
yeah, I'm
Mhm.
excited to talk about this and hear from your perspective. Kind of, I know you already have a training age where, or you're at a training age where you have been in the gym for a while. And I know that you're comfortable not only being in the gym, but like you post your workouts on the
Mhm.
gram. I think that also takes a certain level of confidence. So, how did you go from being someone who maybe wasn't in the gym before to where you're at now? And then, kind of follow up question being, where would you like to go from where you are now, or where would you like to see yourself? What's the next step for you?
Yeah, funny enough, the first time that I learned anything about being in the gym was like a life skills class in high school. So, I'm from Florida, and they added a additional PE credit you needed to take in order to graduate from high school. And they, of course, did this right before my senior year. So I needed to
Obviously, yeah.
take another fitness class, and I had, electives open, and there was like a life skills class with one of the PE coaches who honestly had been at the school since I was like in kindergarten. But anyway, so it was mostly girls in this class, and he took us to the weight room, which I don't think I'd ever been in, despite like I played soccer, I played volleyball, did track and field one time, like never had really been in the weight room. And he took us to each of the machines and like explained how to use them. So at the very least, like I knew what the machines were, I knew the muscle groups that they targeted for the most part, but like outside of that class, had never been in the gym, had never worked with any of the equipment. And then in college, I kind of occasionally, but mostly when I was like, oh, I'm so out of shape, when you like gain 5 pounds and you're like, I'm so I'm a monster. I would go to the gym, and honestly, I feel like it was more cardio heavy, but I at least knew how to use some of the equipment because of that. But it was not a focus. I danced. I was in a dance group in college, so I was mostly dancing. It wasn't until after college where I'm like, okay, you have not had a consistent workout, any kind of routine for now 4 years. Let's try to start this again. And it was more of a yoga running kind of thing. I was working for Lululemon, so like I got to do a lot of classes for
Oh,
free,
cool.
but my apartment building had a gym. So I was like, I'm going to do this. And I think part of it is like I don't embarrass easy. So I was like, we're gonna go
Yeah.
in here and I'm just gonna, but it was like what I learned in high school was just what I was doing in the gym. And I would just do that every day. Like I would run a mile and I would work out, and then would come to learn like I shouldn't even do it in that order and all these different, but like I was just doing what I knew. Um, but I didn't get a trainer and like really hone in on like technique until maybe like a little bit before the pandemic. Like it wasn't, and even then I've had different experiences with different trainers and everything like that, but like I do feel like the core foundation for me comes from a high school gym class,
Yeah.
and building from there. And I think your question, where do I want to go? And this is why I really like now working with Sam, is that I feel like I kind of plateaued on what I was comfortable handling myself, like how much weight I was comfortable handling and all of those things, because I'm like, the last thing I want to do in the gym is injure myself, and so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll cap out at this weight because I know I can handle this weight. And so with Sam, it's been like, okay, we're gonna push your PRs when you're with me, see where you're at, how you feel in an environment that you feel safe in, and then you can see what you're comfortable doing in the gym by yourself. So I just want to be able to keep pushing that and get more comfortable with pushing myself, because I would up the weights, but I would never be like, let's go for a new PR. Like I was like, whatever I hit before, maybe 2.5 pounds more, maybe 5 pounds more, but not the like 5 to 10 pound increments per set that Sam would, have now has me do. So I think it's just like only getting like more comfortable. I think I want to be also like additionally more informed about targeting specific muscle groups, as opposed to just generally being like legs, like I want to know like what specifically I am targeting. And always, I mean, in the past few years, it's been for me also incorporating things that help with mobility. Just because women in my family tend to have like a nice little slip and fall in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And so I just want to make sure I'm as mobile as possible to hopefully, well, I hope it never happens, but if it does, that I will, like fall better than I would if I didn't have that training. And I think that's also why I've just really wanted to put on muscle, is like protect joints and bones. And
the skeletal system is also oh my gosh, I can't think of the word right now, but it also increases its strength under stress, right? So we're not only strengthening our muscle tissue, but also our skeletal system.
Oh, like our density.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because your bones under tensile strength will get stronger as well. So yeah, I think, and I think it's immensely helpful to work with a person, if you, like a trainer or coach, if you are someone who has a training age or is at a place where you're comfortable going to the gym by yourself, but you're not comfortable pushing yourself. Because I think people tend to be very literal when it comes to their interpretation. Like, I know I need to be progressively overloading my lifts. And their interpretation of that is, well, I'm just going to keep adding 5 pounds or 2.5 pounds to this lift every week. Now, I say this with the caveat of like, maybe we don't go ham, but I think that holds people back a lot more than if maybe they were to be a little bit more on the reckless side, only because our bodies are very adaptable, right? Like, I bet the increases and the jumps that Sam recommends for you, probably outside what you would consider for yourself, and like a little more of an aggressive jump, right? Like I would imagine some of your lifts are increasing by more than like 2.5 to 5 pounds each week.
Oh yeah, it's like 10. But like even within the sets, like between the sets, she'll be like, let's go up 10, let's go up 5 in between the sets, where I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna increase this set by, like you said, 2.5, 5 pounds, all 3 sets. And then that's it. And I'm like, all right, next week might be another 2.5, another 5. Yes, I am probably the most, like, I'm a very risk averse person. Like, I was the person who was like, I'll go to the 3rd highest branch. The view is fine from here. Like,
I'm wrong. I think this is contextual, right? So in the context of, I want to shift my body composition, we kind of can't play it safe there. Right. And from a progressive overload stance, like, you are not gaining 5 pounds of strength week after week. Quite honestly, you could probably have done that 5 extra pounds the week before, right? On at least one of your sets. So it really holds a lot of people back. And I've seen it in clients that I have coached and currently coach, where they're very regimented and very meticulous. Like, I'm going to go up 5 pounds each week. But then my devil's advocate question is, well, what happens when you can't do that anymore? What's your plan then? Is your plan to just go up by 5 pounds each week until when? So that's not really progressive overload. Progressive overload and strength training is not that linear. You're going to have weeks where that weight feels heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Same weight, could be the same weight. And then the next week it could move like a feather because our bodies encounter stress. Like our bodies know stress. And whether that's gym stress, family stress, work stress, life stress, stress is stress. So if we've had a more stressful week, most likely we're not going to be making a huge jump. Maybe it is a 5-pound jump. But if we've had a lower stress week and we feel good, that's the time to push.
Yeah.
That's when I wouldn't maybe expect to see like, oh, wow, it looks like you really jumped up there. Like, tell me about what happened this week. Or, oh, it looked like you've been making pretty aggressive jumps up until this past week. Like, tell me about what happened. Oh, like I had a big project due, didn't get as much sleep. My, meal timing was off. I just had to squeeze this workout in when I could. So I think people, in knowing that progressive overload is adding weight or reps over time, they take that too literally, right? They think, well, it should look like a, perfect incline of weight over time. And it's just, that's not the case. Same as weight loss or weight gain. It moves within, in a direction, but it's not linear. It's not that linear.
Yeah.
And maybe if it is, I would posit that we're not pushing ourselves hard enough.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I definitely think like what you're describing is what was happening with me, right? Where I'm just like, I was like, I'm not seeing any real difference in this. Like I'm just doing the thing that I've been doing over and over and over again.
Well, and the thing that you believe to be correct, right? Progressive overload is adding weight or reps over time, which you were absolutely doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's no reason why you, as, an average gym goer who has experience lifting weights, like there's no reason why I wouldn't think that that would be your interpretation. And it is correct technically, but then we have to ask ourselves, am I really challenging myself though?
Yeah.
Or am I going through the motions of what I think I should be doing?
So would your advice be to someone like me who does, is going to the gym to be like, okay, let me set aside, X amount of time to work with a trainer and readjust what this looks like for me?
So I think that if you're going to self-manage, like maybe if you are someone who can't afford to work with a trainer or coach one-on-one, which like understandable, it is a luxury service.
Yeah.
The best way I think to determine if you're pushing yourself hard enough is, do I need rest after the set that I'm doing? Am I pushing myself to where maybe the last few reps slow down or are kind of ugly and maybe not even full range? Or do I finish, put down the bar, and I'm like looking at my watch every 3 seconds, ready to go again before whatever your designated rest period is? Most likely, I would say, if you're ready and raring to go, probably wasn't an appropriate amount of challenge for your body.
Okay.
So I think that to me, and when I work with clients too, especially those who maybe haven't strength trained before, haven't worked with a coach before, they'll do a set and then immediately after, do you want me to go again? I'm like, no, I want you to rest, because this is usually how the negotiation goes. I say, oh, let's try this way. Oh no, I could never do that way. Let's do this. I'm like, okay, great. Let's start there. They do their reps. They finish their set. Do you want me to go again? I'm like, well, no, I want you to wait 60 seconds. And it sounds like if you're ready to go now, maybe we should try a little bit more like a little bit heavier. So that I would say is a very typical negotiation that I would encounter with someone who is new to training or maybe hasn't worked with a coach before.
Yeah, but that's like a good way to gauge for yourself.
Yes.
As you're in the gym.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense. And also, I'm curious to ask you this. So right now, what I do with Sam is like these supersets that are not just targeting one area of my body. Is there a better, or is it by individual where it's like some people are like, I do leg day, I do arm day, I do ab day? Like, does it matter how you decide to tackle?
Yeah. For an average Gen Pop person who is just pursuing health and maybe a little bit of body recomp, the routine that you will do, the split that you like, the exercises that you enjoy doing are the ones that you should be doing. Now, you can get a little more specific and a little more granular if your goals are a little bit more narrow, but the routine that you'll do is the best one for you. Because when we try to force ourselves to do things that maybe we don't enjoy, that's when we encounter resistance, and that is going to put a barrier between ourselves and getting to the gym. Like, oh, I don't want to do this workout. I don't really like doing this workout. I'll just skip it today. So we want to do things, at least in the beginning, that we enjoy. Maybe they're things we're good at too. Like, there's no shade on that. I think whatever gets you in the building and lowers that barrier to entry, do that. Build the habit, and then you can get a little more specific, like, oh, I really want to target this, or, you know, I want to work on this part of my body. Like, okay, get a little more granular. But in the beginning, just do what you like doing. Do the machines you know how to use. The machines, people shit on machines. I don't know why. Yeah. They're a great, really safe way to progressively overload until you can move that full stack, which I think for most people would be a while. But if you're insecure about your movement and you're uncomfortable with free weights like dumbbells or barbells, do an entire machine workout. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And for someone, because I've had people, you know, friends reach out to me because of my posts, and they're like, let's do gym together. I've never done, I'm like, I am not a trainer. I'm like, I am not a trainer. I am not the person who you should be going to figure out the fundamentals of doing this. But what would you suggest for those people who truly have never used a machine, never really done dumbbells? I have a lot of friends who it's like they were, you know, yoga, Pilates folks or cycling folks. And so just like the gym floor, the weights, all of that is just something they've never tackled. What is your advice to them?
Honestly, I think what you said is the right thing, but bring them along anyways. But just under the caveat of, this is what I do. Even though I'm not an expert, I can walk you through what I do. And then if they're interested in more, maybe they can talk to your trainer, or, you know, if they have a gym membership there, I would say kind of refer them out. But I think just in terms, like, if you kind of stonewall them, that might create a barrier for them, right? So I think just being more inclusive and saying, yeah, like, you can come along, like, I'm going to be doing this. My trainer designed this for me. Like, just be very clear. This isn't the end all be all. Like, this doesn't need to be your new routine, but like, this is what I do and it works for me. And then if they're interested in more, refer them out. But I think going with someone provides an immense amount of like comfort for someone who's new to the gym space and who maybe isn't comfortable taking up space in the gym atmosphere. So having someone with them who's kind of showing them the ropes can be really, really helpful. So I wouldn't, you know, tell them, well, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just, you know, be open and honest about it. Like, this is the routine I do. You're welcome to come with me and do it if you like. If not, pop onto a piece of cardio equipment or do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I think just being inclusive is the biggest.
You're so nice. I'm like, do not interrupt my workout.
Believe me, and like, now that I'm working in the high school setting a little bit, like, I'll be in the weight room, and of course, like, they know me now, so they'll come up and I'm like, I'm not gonna get a good workout.
It's not gonna happen now.
But it's that I want them to have that curiosity. I want them to see me as a resource, and like, be the reason that someone starts, not the reason someone won't.
Yeah, and I think also something, you know, the nice thing about, I mean, we can talk about how much some gyms cost, but like nice things about some of them is that they'll be like, okay, you get a free session, or I'm like, take advantage of that. I'm like, when they offer you those things, like, by all means, I'm like, you have someone there who, you know, has the certifications and you can ask questions to and all of that. And I appreciate when there's like no question too dumb, you know, kind of situation as well. But, you know, I especially want all the girls, you know, enjoying the weights. And
100%, yeah. Or even if they're like, hey, I found this workout on Instagram, let's do it. Like, you know what? Yeah. Why not?
And I think there are a lot of people in the gym doing that. You know, I'm like, I see a lot of
Yeah.
people on their phones and there is a Nike trainer or whatever
Yeah.
program or, I guess like ladder, whatever. Like they're doing a workout with not a trainer, but because they're utilizing programs. And I'm like, this is more cost effective. And like,
Hmm.
you already pay to be here. I think that's part of it too. It's like, if you're paying up the wazoo to even be in the gym, the idea of them tacking on the trainer
For sure.
on
Yeah.
top of it, sometimes I'm like, this feels crazy. So I
Totally.
totally
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, for sure. But great advice. And yeah, do you have any last things you want to say about confidence in the gym?
I mean, it takes time. And
Mm,
if it means you start by just grabbing a couple dumbbells, finding a corner to yourself, and doing your thing and leaving, that's okay too. I think it is better with a friend. So try to find a friend. I think that's the easiest way to kind of tackle the space. And if it's a friend who's also new, then you can kind of commiserate together.
yeah.
Um, you're going to encounter assholes wherever you go. That's just unfortunately the way that it is. But know that more people than not at the gym, one, are so self absorbed, they don't even know what you're doing if you feel like you're doing something stupid. Um, and two, like, there are more people who want you to succeed than not. Like, they're happy you're there. They want the community of being at a gym facility. Otherwise, they would work out at home.
Yes. Yes. And I'd say also, the behavior you do in the gym, have it be the behavior you'd want someone to have with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was like, we've all had the person who, like, in between a set is like, I'm like, are you reading all of Instagram?
There's a man who comes and cycles. He has an iPad, his phone, and a hard copy newspaper.
Oh, wow.
Just, yeah, it's it's a special place.
Yes, you'll encounter all sorts, but
Yes.
it's still wonderful. And I agree with you. I think there are way more people who like want you to succeed at the gym or, will give an encouraging smile than negativity. So
And less people are looking at you than what you think are. So
yeah, I don't think anyone's ever paying attention to me.
yeah, we're all too absorbed in our own atmosphere.
Yes, definitely, for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for that wonderful advice.
Yes,
And
you're
I will
welcome.
see you next time.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.